Good evening, and welcome to the public meeting for the Central Florida Expressway Authority's proposed State Road 417 capacity improvements from State Road 528 to State Road 408 in Orange County. During this presentation, we will be going over the design concepts for this project. This meeting is being conducted in a hybrid format to provide multiple ways for the public to receive information about the project and provide input. This meeting is being conducted in person and virtually through GoToWebinar. The PowerPoint presentation is available on the project webpage at bit.ly/SR_417_capacity_improvements. For online participants, the GoToWebinar control panel should be visible in the upper right corner of your computer screen. If you are joining GoToWebinar on your mobile device, simply tap the screen to display the same options. The blue arrows in both images point to where you will find the question box. You could type a comment or question into the question box. Then click Send to submit your comment or question to staff. The red arrows in both images point to where you can find the handouts, documents, and comment forms for this public meeting. Click the Handouts icon to see available handouts. Click on the file name to download. If you happen to experience a technical issue during this meeting, please type the issue in the question box or send an email to brittany@valeran-group.com to report it. You may also call Brittany at 407-487-2474. Staff will do their best to assist you. This meeting and study are being conducted without regard to race, color, national origin, age, sex, religion, disability, or family status. Persons wishing to express their concerns relative to compliance by the Central Florida Expressway Authority with Title VI may do so by contacting Aaron Kleinfeld, Public Involvement Coordinator, by mail at 4974 ORL Tower Road, Orlando, Florida 32807, by phone at 407-487-2474, or by email at projectstudies@cfxway.com. All inquiries or complaints will be handled according to CFX procedure and in a prompt and courteous manner. State Road 417 is part of the 125-mile regional expressway system that is planned, designed, constructed, maintained, and operated by CFX. CFX operates ePass, the first electronic toll collection system in Florida with more than 1 million ePass accounts. The CFX Limited Access Network, which serves 3 million residents and more than 75 million visitors, is fully funded by toll revenue. No tax dollars are used for CFX's $4 billion 5-year work plan. CFX is an independent agency of the state, governed by a board of 7 locally elected leaders and 3 governor appointees. Within CFX's project development process, shown here, the project is currently in the PD&D study phase. At the conclusion of the study, after public input is received on a preferred alternative and based on CFX board approval, the next phase would be the design phase. After the design phase are the right-of-way, permitting, and utility coordination phases. The PD&D study phase considers environmental effects during the alternatives evaluation process and provides an opportunity for input during the early stages of project development as alternatives are being considered. This PD&D study will include the evaluation of the social, cultural, natural, and physical environment effects of any proposed transportation improvements, right-of-way considerations, and construction cost estimates. Any potential effects to social, cultural, natural, and physical environment resources will be avoided or minimized to the extent feasible. This study will also document potential project benefits such as improved mobility and economic benefits. For this meeting today, we will look at the study area that is State Road 417, or the Central Florida Greenway, from State Road 528, the Martin B. Anderson Beach Line Expressway, to State Road 408, the Spessart L. Holland East-West Expressway. This corridor is currently a 6-lane roadway, consisting of 3 lanes in each direction. This PD&E study will analyze and evaluate improvements in order to improve safety, increase capacity, and determine the highest level of service for the current and future needs of State Road 417. This will also complement the ongoing capacity improvements along State Road 417 from International Drive to State Road 528. The goals of this State Road 417 capacity improvements PD&E study include enhancing mobility for the region's population and economic growth, providing consistency with local plans and policies, promoting regional connectivity, enhancing evacuation and emergency services response, incorporating flex lanes to add capacity, and matching improvements of other segments of State Road 417. As we just mentioned, to meet the current and future traffic demand and increase safety in the area, additional capacity is needed along this corridor. CFX is proposing widening this portion of State Road 417 from 6 general lanes to 8 general lanes with wider median shoulders, also known as flex lanes. So, let's go through the corridor and review the proposed changes. Starting at the south end of the project, just north of the State Road 528 interchange, the project will begin where recent improvements on State Road 417 from International Drive to State Road 528 were just completed. From the State Road 528 interchange, State Road 417 will be widened to 4 general use lanes, an auxiliary lane on the outside, and a flex lane on the inside in each direction, northbound and southbound. From north of the 528 interchange to south of the Lee Vista Boulevard interchange, 2 of the existing ponds can be expanded within the existing right-of-way. However, additional right-of-way is needed to expand the existing pond just south and east of Lee Vista Boulevard. At the Lee Vista Boulevard interchange, improvements include adding a second left turn lane from the northbound off-ramp and a second right turn lane from the southbound off-ramp. Along Lee Vista Boulevard, a second left turn lane would be added in both directions to access either the northbound or the southbound on-ramps. The existing toll plaza would be reconstructed to remove the cash lanes and convert to an all-electronic payment only. From the Lee Vista Boulevard interchange to south of the Curry Ford Road interchange, 3 of the existing ponds can be expanded within the existing right-of-way. 1 existing pond expansion will require additional right-of-way, but the additional right-of-way is a parcel that is already owned by CFX. Additional noise barriers are proposed along the Pinewood Reserve, Victoria Landings, and Tivoli Woods communities. At the Curry Ford Road interchange, improvements include adding a second left turn lane from the northbound off-ramp and a second right turn lane from the southbound off-ramp. Along Curry Ford Road, the left turn lanes to the northbound and southbound on-ramps would be extended to provide additional storage. 2 additional ponds requiring right-of-way are needed in this area of the project. Both are located east of State Road 417 near the Curry Ford Road interchange. From just south of the Curry Ford Road interchange to approximately Barry Deese Road, 1 existing pond expansion will require additional right-of-way. There is 1 new proposed pond at the Curry Ford Road interchange on a parcel that is already owned by CFX, while 1 new proposed pond just north of the interchange will require new right-of-way. Additional noise barriers are proposed along the east side of State Road 417 from north of the Curry Ford Road interchange to Barry Deese Road, serving the Econ Landing community. Noise barriers are also proposed along the west side of State Road 417 to serve the residential homes along South Econ-Lockhatchee Trail. Continuing north, as the northbound lanes approach State Road 408, improvements would transition to match the existing lanes on State Road 417. This includes terminating the flex lane. The 2-lane exit ramp to State Road 408 would be lengthened by moving the start point further south. Additional ponds would be needed along the east side of State Road 417, north of Barry Deese Road, and all of these ponds would require new right-of-way. So, what are flex lanes? Flex lanes allow traffic to continue to move when an incident causes a closure in one or more of the general use lanes. For example, if a serious crash occurs and closes one general use lane, a flex lane would open and allow traffic to safely pass the crash at a reduced speed. Additionally, flex lanes can be used to provide temporary capacity during emergency events, such as hurricane evacuations. Flex lanes are controlled by dynamic overhead messaging signs that indicate which lanes are open and which lanes are closed. Additional information about flex lanes can be found at cfxway.com/flexlanes. A preliminary noise study was conducted as part of this PD&D study, and a second noise study will be conducted as part of the design phase. Noise walls will be considered for areas predicted to experience noise levels that reach or exceed 66 decibels or experience an increase of 15 decibels over existing noise levels. Additionally, the noise wall must provide at least a 5 decibel reduction to be considered feasible. 66 decibels would be slightly louder than heavy traffic 300 feet away. 15 decibels compares to the noise you would hear at night in a rural area. Think the sound of crickets. There's also consideration involving the cost per benefited property. Do remember the noise walls lessen the road noise. They do not completely block out the sound. Additional noise wall information can be found at cfxway.com. Let's take a quick look at the project schedule. This study kicked off in October 2024. Tonight, we are holding the Alternatives public meeting. The study is anticipated to be completed in April 2025. We need your feedback. You can email comments to projectstudies@cfxway.com. If you are attending in person, you can complete a printed comment form and place in one of the comment card receptacles around the room. Comments must be submitted by March 10, 2025 in order to be entered into the project public record. For more information on this project, please email the project team at projectstudies@cfxway.com. Okay, well, thank you everyone for listening to our public meeting presentation for State Road 417 Capacity Improvements PD&E. I am here with Will Hawthorne, Director of Policy and Planning for Central Florida Expressway Authority. And Will, we received some questions leading up to this meeting, and we also have some just general frequently asked questions we get. So I thought it would be a good idea for us to kind of go through some of those questions and discuss the answers so that everybody online can hear.
Sounds good.
Okay, so the first one we have here is, what will State Road 417 look like when this project gets built?
Okay, so basically what we're looking at is widening State Route 417 from 6 general use lanes to 8 general use lanes with the addition of wider paved median shoulders known as flex lanes. So in other words, you'll have what's out there today, but we'll be adding another general use lane to the median or to the inside, as well as a lane in addition to that that can be used for incident response known as our flex lanes in each direction.
Okay, great. Next question was, what is the timeline for this project and when would construction start?
That's a good question. We're still looking at that right now. I do know that we will be splitting it up into 2 design projects. I believe the first segment to go out for design or engineering will be from 408 down to, I think, south of Curry Ford Road. Once that happens, we'll have a better idea of what our construction duration will look like.
Okay, that's good to know. The next question, why is more capacity needed?
Well, it's no secret that people continue to move to Central Florida, and those numbers have varied a little bit here recently, but they do continue to increase, and we need to stay ahead of that curve so that traffic can keep moving. I mean, that's the most basic answer you can get, is to stay ahead of the population increase in the area and the motorists that are using our system.
Indeed. Okay. So earlier you mentioned the flex lanes. So can you talk a little bit more about what are flex lanes?
Of course, so flex lanes are actively under construction right now on 417 and 429. For 417, they go from International Drive all the way to the north to State Route 528. This project will be extending those from 528 up to 408. And basically what those are is they are an extra wide shoulder on the inside of the expressway that are closed throughout the duration of the day. And they can be opened up with our arrow per lane signs, or the digital uh, arrow lines that you can start to see on 417. Those can be opened up and used to keep traffic moving safely when an incident occurs, not only to do that, but to keep our first responders safe. So it's kind of a little bit of a win-win. And then in the ultimate vision, they could be opened in peak hour to allow traffic to continue to flow at a safe speed, but not a full, 60 or 70 miles an hour.
Oh, very innovative. I like that. Okay, so another frequently asked question is how will this affect toll plazas? And will this change any toll rates as a result of this project?
It's a great question. So our board, the short answer to that is no. The projects themselves do not dictate the toll rates on a given section of roadway. We do a holistic look at our system, and in fact, our board voted in 2017 to move forward with what we call a customer first toll policy, where the toll rate adjusts annually by a minimum or according to the consumer price index. I think it's 1.5% if memory serves me correctly, or whatever the CPI is for that year. And that policy follows, other state agencies and, similar expressway systems like ours.
Very interesting. Another question we've been asked is, are there going to be noise walls?
Yes, we get that question quite often. There are many noise walls through this section already. Those will be supplemented in some areas. So those graphics can be found on the website. But yes, there will be some noise walls included with this project.
Okay.
And I will add on to that, PD&E, we do a preliminary look at that, and then it's also re-looked at during design once we know a lot more about the actual geometry of the roadway, so they can figure out exactly where sound walls need to go. So it does get revisited in the future once this moves into engineering/design.
Okay, that's good to know. Another question we received was, are any properties going to be taken for this project?
For these improvements, yes, we do have some right-of-way needs associated with this. All of the laneage or roadway improvements would be done within existing right-of-way. The exception is for stormwater retention or treatment. So you've got your retention or detention ponds that are needed to meet permitting criteria. That is where we do have a few different options on what could happen in the future. When that does happen, we do have CFX representatives that reach out and start that coordination for any possible impacted parcels.
Okay. Another question, are there any other future plans for State Road 417?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, these projects look 20 years into the future and predict what our travel demands are going to be and what the traffic will look like, and that's what we base our design on. So at this point, this is what the ultimate will hold for 417. That could change at any time, but that's what we know right now.
Got it. Okay. Um, Going back to noise, how will the surrounding area be impacted by any construction noise when this gets to that phase?
Again, that's several, at least 2 to 3 years away. I do know that in our contract construction documents, we do require that our contractors follow local noise ordinances, as well as DOT's standard specifications for construction. We try to make every effort possible to minimize that noise. Some of it will be unavoidable because we typically do not shut down lanes during peak hour or during the day. We have to shut those down at night, and that's when we have to do some bridge widenings if that's included in the project. But we do try to give residents notices in advance of that so they're not caught off guard.
Got it. And when it does come to the construction phase, how will the local community be notified of construction?
So similar to what we're doing right now, we do have public meetings prior to projects going to construction. I know that your team or our other PIO team will reach out to those within the corridor area to let them know what's coming and to try to answer any questions they may have. But there's a pretty hefty public involvement effort that goes on to make sure that people are aware of what's coming.
Yeah, absolutely. Our final question is regarding environmental impacts and what are the environmental impacts of this project?
Oh boy, that's relatively low on this project, but I would encourage everyone to go look at the documents that have been prepared for the PD&E. Those can be found on our website. I don't have that offhand, but if you go to cfxway.com and search SR 417 capacity improvements, we should have the documents there on a link that will take you to the documents.
Okay, perfect. All right. Well, thank you so much, Will. I think this answers all the questions that we've received up until now and some of our frequently asked questions we get on our projects. But if anybody has any further questions, please feel free to reach out to me, Erin Kleinfeld. You can email me at projectstudies@cfxway.com, and we will do our best to assist you.